For America's climate goals, investing in clean energy adds up. But what doesn't add up is an additionality requirement for clean hydrogen. Additionality would put an unnecessary and inequitable burden on domestic clean hydrogen producers and have serious consequences for America. America needs clean hydrogen, but an additionality requirement just doesn't add up. Get the facts at cleanhydrogentoday.org. Paid for by the Fuel Cell and Hydrogen Energy Association.
Hello and welcome to the Corner Flag. Potter's gone, Rodgers is gone, and Klopp is wondering how he's still in a job. This is episode 209. Welcome everybody to episode 209 of the Corner Flag. Before we continue with the rest of this episode, I just have to point out, I feel like my chair is just slowly going down. I could feel it while I was doing the intro. So people who see the video snippets, you might see a little bit of weird movement from my end. That sounds very wrong.
Amogh is losing his stature. He's metaphorically losing his stature.
Absolutely. I have non-metaphorically. What is the opposite of metaphorically?
Literally.
Right.
Literally, it's literally. Let's go.
Literally, it is literally. Correct. I've just brain fart happened for a second.
Instead of being an English football podcast, can we just be an English podcast?
No.
Please, I don't want to talk about football.
Why is that, Mookie? It's I don't know why I'm gloating. It's been a depressing weekend for you, for me, for Prashant in Dubai. It will be a depressing weekend for Akarsh later tonight when Spurs play Everton. But he's in Spain, so nothing is depressing for him. Fuck that guy. But yeah, how was the rest of your week, man?
My week was good. I really considered becoming a cricket fan full time. Then I saw Hyderabad lost. So I was like, I should switch over to like badminton, kabaddi, where the stakes for me feel much lower.
Yeah.
Yes, this for Liverpool match also happened on a Saturday afternoon, so it ruins your whole evening. So it sort of ruins the whole weekend. But yeah, such is life.
Such is life indeed. Right. Lots of stuff to talk about because there's two managers that have now in very quick succession have lost their jobs. We'll start off with Chelsea losing 2-0 to Aston Villa. Ollie Watkins and John McGinn with the goals, which has led to Graham Potter being sacked.
Firstly, I think we should congratulate Emery. I feel like in this dialogue about Potter losing his job and Chelsea losing, people have forgotten that it was, I wouldn't say a tactical masterclass, but it was still a tactical class.
Yeah.
Of turning up and getting the job done.
Yeah.
While getting Potter without a job.
Yeah. But it was, I mean, we were talking about this for the last how many ever episodes. It seemed like it was definitely something that was coming. I think right from the time they appointed Graham Potter, like if I go back into the archive of the Corner Flag in my mind as of now, when Potter was announced as Chelsea manager, we were talking about how Todd Bowley is not the kind of manager, not the kind of owner that Abramovich was. He's somebody who will give time to a manager and let them build their project. And we expected Potter to hang around for a long time, or at least a majority of the 5-year contract that he was given. But after a point, I mean, what is an owner supposed to do if your results are this bad? I mean, even the commentator saying 10th versus 11th, the very definition of a mid-table battle, I mean, that's got to hurt for Chelsea fans.
That's going to hurt. And I think with the Potter appointment, right, one, it felt very un-Chelsea-like, which we've discussed. But at some level, given Chelsea's culture, it either had to be the most masterful tactic hire ever that was so like beyond plain sight that somebody else saw it and none of us could.
Yeah.
Or it had to be exactly as stupid as all of us thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
If it had to fit in Chelsea's culture. In fact, I think the good thing for Potter is that his credibility has not reduced one bit, but it's in fact Chelsea's credibility that has gone down as a place for managers to thrive, because they were a hire and fire place and it worked for managers who were pure charisma, who could give you short-term results and who would be very okay with getting fired. And then they hired this manager and now they've hired a process manager and fired him in a short period of time. So
yeah, but it's also because the process wasn't working. There's many reasons for that, and one could say that one of the biggest reasons is that the new ownership doesn't know what they're doing in the transfer market. There's so many players, there's so much fat around that dressing room that it is very hard for any manager, I feel, to create a cohesive system with those many players, because it's not like all those players fit into a type of system. Enzo Fernandez might fit one type of system, but Mudryk might fit a different type of system, and they're both big money buys. So how do you justify either playing them or benching them?
And also, what kind of a manager who's till now has never played Champions League football?
Yeah.
How do you get him to manage such vastly different European talents who've clearly playing for that league, right? For that level, because they're almost, I think all the players are at some level of league champions. All the players who've come at some level of experience league championship, but I think Champions League is the one prize that they're all eyeing.
Yeah.
And to not even forget playing in the league now, they're not even going to be able to participate in the league next year, which means their value decreases, etc. So I still feel like it was Todd Bowley's, like I said, it either had to be something so brilliant that it's out of plain sight, or something as silly that we all saw it coming and turned out to be that there was clearly no master plan in sight and it was just a clearly silly process, because I think they would have spent about 50 to 60 million in the manager process, because they have to pay some X amount to Brighton, they have to sack the manager before this, Conte? If I'm not wrong. Tuchel before this. Tuchel before this. Then they had to now to pay out Graham Potter, and by the time they get a stable person next, you're just out of so much more money.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, right? And I mean, one of the things that, I mean, apart from the fact that there was no real system that Potter was able to create, or he was not getting the results. Of course, the squad harmony or the respect that the squad were supposed to show the manager and weren't, is also something that was heavily talked about. Apparently, he was liked by the Chelsea squad, but there were signs of discontent behind the scenes, according to the Evening Standard. Some players made Harry Potter references and lacked respect for a manager who had never before managed at elite level. I thought it was only like people like us who made the Harry Potter references, like just football podcasts and comedians around the world who just made, hey, Graham Potter, Harry Potter, तो मतलब सब अभी यही हम लोग jokes करेगा.
But it's also nice to know that someone who could like score a hat-trick against United or Liverpool will go back and be like, dude, have you read The Sorcerer's Stone? Dude, it's Philosopher's Stone in America. Just have these sort of debates, and I think that's really endearing.
Yeah. Yeah. Who do you think reads Harry Potter?
I think Felix is trying to read Harry Potter and get into...
Right.
I think that's his way of trying. He relates with Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I think he's trying to get into understand London and the culture around England through Harry Potter. I think he's a definite reader.
Yeah. Away from Chelsea, I don't think Jack Grealish is a reader. I don't think he knows how to read.
He's probably reading the comic book.
Yeah.
With just images.
Just images. No
Just
dialogues
images.
whatsoever. But that means that Graham Potter's out of a job. That Brighton job looks quite good right now. You feel like he shouldn't have led. You think Graham Potter's going to go back to the Army and be like, please take me back. Please, honey. I love you.
I think he'll probably find himself many suitors. So I think he's not in as pathetic a place. I think there's another manager who I think will be in as pathetic a place, but we'll get to him later.
Who's that?
Brendan Rodgers.
Let's talk about that, because Crystal Palace beat Brendan Rodgers' Leicester 2-1. We should say Roy Hodgson's Crystal Palace. I mean, we spoke about this 75 saal ka. Let the man rest, but he's back with the bang. First game in charge.
Okay, Amogh, you know that I have no respect for Brendan Rodgers.
Or Roy Hodgson.
No. Brendan Rodgers.
It's the ex-Liverpool derby this was.
It is the ex-Liverpool
derby. The ghosts of Liverpool past.
I completely forgot that Roy Hodgson has at some point managed Liverpool, it seems ages ago.
Yeah.
But I think to lose tactically to a 75-year-old manager who's come back and whose idea of tactics is get the ball, shoot at the goal.
Yeah.
I think to lose just really tells you how out of depth you have to be at this level of football.
Yeah.
And I think he's the one going back to clubs, whether it's Celtic, whether it's Southampton, whether Swansea, all these clubs, and begging for that job back, because completely out of depth for about 2-3 years now. I think he should have been fired ages ago.
Yeah.
I know people credit him for giving Leicester the first FA Cup, I think in ages, but that also seemed more... It didn't seem because of Rodgers. It seemed despite
of him.
Despite Rodgers, I think they didn't qualify for Champions League because of Rodgers. He didn't know how to manage final. As I know with Liverpool experience, he doesn't know how to manage tense situations, especially when it's do or die situations in final games. And Leicester lost out on Champions League football twice 2 years in a row
Yeah.
to teams such as I think Tottenham and United on final day.
Yeah.
And these are Tottenham and United from a couple of years ago when they weren't even
Yeah.
at their best. You could say Tottenham were never at their best. But yeah, I think great decision for Leicester. They should have sacked him years ago. And I think it's the shit cherry on the shit cake that Roy Hodgson has defeated him. And that's the time Leicester decided to get him out of the Premier League once and for all.
You know, Roy Hodgson's become the oldest manager to win a Premier League game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And Brendan Rodgers has become the shittiest manager to lose a game.
Yeah.
So I guess
I think that was way before this game. But I mean, I don't know what the fascination with Brendan Rodgers is. I do not understand it. And I do not understand why certain people wanted him to take over the Man United job.
Oh my God.
You know, people wanted Conte to take over the Man United job. People wanted Brendan Rodgers to take over the Man United job. And I'm like, do you guys not understand how these managers work? Like, they're not great managers.
I mean,
And Conte is... He's not somebody who works in this Premier League sort of situation. He's definitely not the type of manager we need right now. So it's just, I don't know.
Correct. That's the sound I make every time someone mentions Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, exactly. But what this means is that now Spurs, Chelsea and Leicester are without managers going into the last, 8 games? 9 games of the season, 10 games of the season. On the other hand, Julian Nagelsmann, Mauricio Pochettino, Brendan Rodgers, Graham Potter and Antonio Conte are all available. So we're going to see a lot of wife swapping happening over here. Pardon the lack of a better term or a more culturally appropriate sort of elegant term for that. But yeah, basically, there's that Ajnabi, I think, where Akshay Kumar talks to Bobby Deol about shh, this is that. But yeah, 3, let's say, big clubs in the Premier League. One can argue only one of them is a big club. The other 2 are trying to be big clubs, but and I'm talking about Leicester being the big club. So 3 bona fide Premier League clubs and 5 really, really interesting managers out there. Where do you think everybody is going to go?
Brendan Rodgers is out. I think he's going to retire and should open something else. I don't know what, but just be out of
open
football.
A florist shop.
Yeah, just open the anti-football class.
Yeah.
How not to be a coach.
Yeah.
For sure. I think Nagelsmann should come up maybe to Chelsea. I feel like he might suit Chelsea here. I think Chelsea need a media savvy, a badass manager with proven experience who can handle big egos.
But see, now that's the thing, right? You would think that Nagelsmann is a great fit for Chelsea, but the whole point with Potter was the players didn't respect Potter, right? Nagelsmann is 35 years old. He's one of the young coaches, right? Like, he's quite young to be a head coach. And yes, he's managed Bayern and he's done great things with RB Leipzig before he moved to Bayern and all of that. But again, he's that young manager that a lot of players might not really take to, it's one of those things.
See, if you look at who all have won Champions League in the past couple of years.
Nagelsmann hasn't.
No, I know. I'm just talking, looking like you have Ancelotti, you have Tuchel, you have Klopp, right? These are the 4-5 players, people that have won. And I think Hansi Flick, maybe these 4. And I think Hansi Flick, I don't think is going to come out of Germany and manage. So I think there aren't champions. I think the kind of solution you're proposing, which I think would be ideal for Chelsea, is a manager who's ideally won Champions League. But anybody who's won it in the last 5-6 years is not going to manage Chelsea because they're not available.
Yeah.
For whatever reasons. But
on that note, one person who has won the Champions League in the last 5-6 years and who is available but will probably not manage Chelsea is Zinedine Zidane.
Yes, and he probably will not manage Chelsea.
I don't know what his problem is. Usko Real Madrid hi manage karna hai. But then he also gets frustrated with Real Madrid and leaves. And then he waits for the Real Madrid job. It's just weird.
He's the guy who sends marriage is annoying WhatsApp forward jokes but will not leave his wife. He will not partake in this wife swapping business.
Yes.
That is happening.
Yeah.
So I respect that. Respect that. He's a one club, one wife man.
Yeah.
I think. But yeah, so I think the reason I would say Nagelsmann is probably the best fit is because he does seem like someone, I think Potter is a humble resources, big victories kind of a guy. That's a story. But I think this guy knows how to handle big egos, big pressure, which is the only reason why I think he can. And again, if he gets fired quickly, he already has experience of being fired unceremoniously. So
you think? I think what Todd Bowley should do is rehire Graham Potter. Just get Graham Potter to just do a costume change go full Mrs.
This is
Doubtfire
Harry
on
Potter.
it. Yeah, just go full Doubtfire on it.
Yeah.
Or for our Indian listeners, Chachi 420.
Yes.
And just be like, here's your new manager.
By the way, can we take a moment?
Rahim.
Wait. Sorry. Can we take a moment to appreciate that Amogh said for our Indian listeners, as if
I
the
told you.
90% of our listeners aren't Desi.
No, but I'm saying we spoke about this in the last episode, right? Like we had that one Bangladeshi
One
listener.
Bangladesh listener.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have a few in America, a few in Germany, Netherlands, वो सब है.
Hey.
हाँ. एक दो ही है.
एक दो
They're
ही.
all probably Indians who relocated there.
Relocated there.
But still. See, now we lost our train of thought. What are we saying?
About how Chachi 420 and
Correct. So Chachi 420, Kamal Hassan doing a great job. No. Yeah, it would be great if Graham Potter gets re-signed. But I feel like, yeah, I would love to see some, like we're expecting fucking Nagelsmann to Chelsea. We're expecting Potter to Spurs because that's something that we were talking about since the time Potter got the Chelsea job. We're like, no, why Chelsea? You should have got Spurs. Spurs looks more like his thing. I feel Pochettino should go to Chelsea. Fuck it, just fuck everything. Pochettino to Chelsea because he is somebody who can discipline a squad. Like he can be a hard ass when he needs to, but he's also very charming in front of the media. He's also young. He's got ideas. He can build a project.
See, the problem is Pochettino has got too much of that sweet narrative around him, which is a narrative that won't work at Chelsea. Like Chelsea needs assholes. Like they need Ancelottis. They need Mourinho's brashness. They need Ancelotti's not give a fuckness. They need
the raised
Conte's,
eyebrow. And the raised eyebrow.
And the raised eyebrow, of course. And they need Conte's like irritation, arrogance. They need all of that. I think Pochettino he won't fit there. I think. In fact, I would say Pochettino should go to Leicester and sort of build another project from ground up because they're pretty much bottom. It can't get shittier for Leicester right now.
Yeah. So
get them back into Champions League.
I would love to see Potter at Chelsea actually. Because the thing is
Potter at Chelsea.
At Leicester, sorry.
Yeah, Potter at Leicester is not a bad idea.
I feel like, because see, the thing is Pochettino after Spurs went on to manage PSG. He's been linked with the Real Madrid job as well. If Ancelotti doesn't win the Champions League and gets sacked, Pochettino is in the running to replace him at Real Madrid. So he's definitely attracting those sort of offers, right? So Leicester might be a step down for him. Like he might consider Leicester a bit of a step down, but that is not the case with Graham Potter. Graham Potter right now would be itching to get back into management to prove a point. And what better point to prove than with a Leicester squad that is severely underperforming? You've got Maddison in there. You've got Harvey Barnes in there. Vardy has that one last season left in him. We can Nichado something out of it for this season. And that squad is primed to be rebuilt.
That's what
so and so just see the last 10 games out with this Leicester squad and fucking build new from next season onward. I think Potter at Leicester would be damn interesting.
Potter at Leicester would be interesting, but I'm just maybe I think as a long-term project it might be. I just feel like with Pochettino at Leicester it might. I really like Leicester in the big league status, right? I think I liked it when Leicester was probably when Newcastle were, in that level of comparison, and we were throwing Leicester around as a big team. I feel like with Potter, it might be 3-4 year process, and I feel like Pochettino can give you more immediate big league stature, which I would want for Leicester because I really like that club. And as much as Brendan Rodgers ruined it, I feel like they can still climb back up and get the right hires. But yeah, I think I think Leicester have two very beautiful options in front of them, both Potter and Pochettino. And yeah, I hope they make the best pick.
It'll be amazing if Leicester get Julian Nagelsmann.
Yes. Oh, that would be ideal too.
Yeah, that would be ideal. Right, before we wrap up this first half, let's talk about one of the most entertaining games in the Premier League this weekend, which was Brighton 3, Brentford 3. What a fucking game, dude.
What a game. I'm so excited for the finals that's coming up with Man United because Brighton are fantastic. I think they had 30 shots on target, 30 shots and 13 were on target, and I think every player barring the keeper had about
two shots,
I think.
There was some ridiculous stats, absolutely ridiculous stats.
Filthy game. Loved it.
Huh?
Yeah, filthy game. I loved it.
No, so I'll just pull up some of the stats for you right now. 33 attempts, 15 on target, 4.4 XG, and every outfield player had at least 2 attempts.
Yeah, every player had at least 2 attempts, which I thought was a mad stat. That the centre backs also having both the centre backs having 4 shots between them is an insanely attack-minded game, and I think I would be terrified to face them in a final. Because
completely.
Yeah.
That's such a well-run club and such a well-coached club now under Roberto De Zerbi. It is. It's going to be I think United are not going to win that game.
let's not do these reverse jinx tactics that Amogh is trying.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But I do think I think Brentford took the lead all 3 times, and I think they came back. So I think
Brentford did take the lead all 3 times, and Brighton came back. But all goals, and not just the Brighton goals, all the Brentford goals also were spectacular goals. Like just all very good goals. None of them were like defensive errors, or they were all good goals.
Yeah, they were all good goals. They were well coached, and also what I loved was I think both sides showed some level of elite mindset. Like one side was always willing to get, pull the game forward, which is I think Brentford were always taking the lead even if another team pulled back, and Brighton showed that they're never away from scoring a goal and pulling the game back and making it level. So I thought it was a stunning game. Both teams show you how good. I think both teams are also vying for some form of European football, whether it's Europa or Conference, whatever it is. So I think it was a stunning game, and it really shows you that like just a little bit of financial fairness and a little bit of good management can really make you play as well as the biggest elite teams. That really the difference between the topmost teams and the so-called 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th teams is not actually that much. And the games are just as entertaining.
Yeah. If you're talking about XG, Brighton's XG for the game was 4.59 and they scored 3 goals. Brentford's XG was 1.45 and they scored 3 goals. Brentford will be very, very happy with that point, and Brighton must be thinking, how the fuck did we not get all 3?
Yeah. Actually, honestly, that might be just, I don't know, I'm sure XG is the correct statistic, but I do feel like both teams will come out feeling like I feel like this is the kind of game where like both teams would come out feeling like they should have won it, like they had the attack in them to win it. I don't think, XG is great as much as, I'm not a stats man.
Yeah, but if you're
I'm a fields man.
That sounds very wrong. But no, just talking about XG and talking about stats, I want to just go back to Brighton and, or rather, ex-Brighton coach in Graham Potter in the Chelsea game against Aston Villa. The thing is, when Potter was in charge of Brighton, the whole narrative in the media was about their consistent ability to outperform their XG. Right?
Yeah.
Like, and he would always like talk about the XG. Which is great, because one of the final quotes that Graham Potter did as Chelsea manager, which was after the Villa game, when he was talking about the John McGinn goal, which was a fantastic goal, by the way. He said, if you look at the XG of the McGinn goal, it's not that big a chance. They really need a manager who can talk to the media.
They really need a manager who can talk.
Like, this is Ted Lasso level. Like, this is, and Ted Lasso has more charisma than Graham Potter.
And that says something about Graham Potter.
Exactly.
How ridiculously unfit he is for such a big club with so much scrutiny.
Yeah, he needs a small club to like build his reputation back up, man. Like, that's some people can do only that.
Some people are good at being middle class.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you give them a 4 BHK, they won't know what to do with it.
They won't know what to do. It's like some people shouldn't win the lottery.
Yeah.
Some people will better at just having a little bit of a salary, a little bit of an income, and having fun with there.
Correct.
That's it.
Anybody in particular you have in mind? Because this came from a very personal place.
It's just me, Amogh. I'm feeling like I need to win some lottery.
Acha, okay. Let's try. Let's get some lottery tickets. Let's see if we win some lottery. In the break, on the other side, we'll talk about Liverpool's loss and United's loss and fucking Arsenal winning. We'll try and keep the energy up, guys. See you on the other side. Welcome back to the Corner Flag, everybody. And as always, we do not begin the second half with some questions because yet again, we forgot. We are sorry. We'll come back with questions next time.
I have some questions.
Also, wait, what questions?
Why must we talk about Liverpool and United?
Because we only have about 25 minutes of content up until now, and we should do at least 40.
Fine. I don't know, Mo. Should we really? Why can't?
You think you want to leave, or do you want to just leave?
Exit?
Yeah.
Promise. And they should just. I feel like people should just check if is this link not working?
Yeah.
Just exit suddenly.
Let's just do ASMR for the next 20 minutes. Talking like this in your ear.
This is us. Sorry, say it.
No, I was just saying that it'll be great for listeners to hear an existential crisis happening on mic right now. So we should talk about that. But just going back to the whole questions thing, we are sorry we forgot to ask you for your questions. But I mean, we've been doing the show for 4 years now, guys. You know we record on Mondays. So you don't need us to tell you to send in your questions. Monday को सीधा message कर दो यार corner flag Instagram पे @cornerflagpod. Just message say, hey guys, my question for this week is.
It's amazing. Last week we yelled at them for being too proactive. This week we're yelling at them for not being proactive enough.
No, here, the thing is, we are not active. They are either too proactive or not proactive at all. We as podcasters are not active at all.
We are meant to be middle class.
Yeah, we are meant to be middle class. No lottery tickets for us.
No lottery tickets.
But what that means is we'll talk about the race at the top of the table because Arsenal are going to win the Premier League.
Yeah, Amogh, can I be very honest? I have no idea how they're doing it. But they're going to do it.
It's the light bulb. It's Arteta's light bulb theory. That's how they're doing it.
I have no idea. Something that they're doing seems to be clear because I can promise you that Xhaka has now become a superstar. Xhaka is like, I'm like, how is this happening? This shouldn't be happening. They're getting penalties that shouldn't be penalties.
Let's talk about that. See, the thing is now there were 2 big games and both those games ended in 4-1 score lines, but only one team in red was happy about this. So let's talk about the Arsenal game first. Arsenal beating Leeds United 4-1. Gabriel Jesus returned with 2 goals. The first one was a penalty, which was obviously not a penalty.
Obviously not. I agree. That was too simple. What is that? Too light.
See, okay, the thing is, Luke Ayling does connect Jesus' knee, right? So there is definitely contact. It is very slight contact, but there is definitely contact. And because there is contact, it should be a penalty. I feel like the way Jesus dived after that, because ek to Ayling connects with the front of his knee and then this guy dives forward. मतलब physics नहीं पता है क्या इन लोग को?
It was very soft. I think Jesus always looks to be on the verge of crying anyway. He looks like he's on the verge of he's been permanently wronged. So I think that's his thing. He's in what, man?
Gabriel Jesus. That's how you should say his name every time.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. By the time you reach the second sir in Jesus, you should be just the tier one.
One tier should be there.
But yeah, I think that was very soft. I actually don't even think it was a penalty. It was very soft, and
I feel like because the rule suggests that if there is contact like that, it has to be a penalty. The referee should have given a penalty and then a red card to Jesus for the horrible play acting.
Horrible play acting, for sure.
And that is justice.
Like
then you've been like, हाँ चल, मैंने rule भी follow किया और मैंने चूतियाप को भी send off किया. So best है ना, like everybody is happy in that sense.
Happy. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was definitely not a penalty, but he did come back with 2 goals. His second goal was really good, like great movement by him to come in with the late run and great fucking vision by Trossard also to find him.
What a signing Trossard is. Wow, how have other scouts missed this? It's criminal that there wasn't a...
You know what's crazy? Trossard was their second choice. You remember when the whole Trossard signing happened, Arsenal were very, very close to signing Mykhailo Mudryk.
Oh, yeah.
And then Chelsea came in at the last minute and offered a little bit more money, and Arsenal were like, yeah, we're not paying that much for Mudryk. Chelsea were like, yeah, we have all the money in the world. We'll pay so much for Mudryk. And Mudryk went to Chelsea, and then they were like, oh fuck, now we still need a player. Who do we get? And they went for Trossard. And how well has that worked out? Because Mudryk is a great player. He has a lot of potential, but he's not settled into Chelsea yet. Yeah. Like, he's still a very young player. He's from Ukraine. Not just that he's Ukrainian. He has come from a Ukrainian team. बहुत trauma है उसपे अभी already. तो ये Zinchenko just Manchester to London आ गया. मतलब वो यूक्रेन का फ्लैग लेके जाता है, all great, but bro, तू Virgin train लिया. You didn't take a fucking people carrier from Ukraine from the middle of a war, which Mudryk probably also did not do, private jet, but still, you understand the point. So he's taking some time to settle. So what a fucking great signing Trossard has been.
What a signing. Arsenal are stumbling, bumbling. Somehow they're going to reach the end. I'm amused more than anything else. How is this team pulling this off?
See, I feel like that is a little bit disrespectful to Arsenal fans. And for that, I applaud you.
And it's weird because I'm the closest thing to an Arsenal fan on this podcast. And I'm only like, how is this happening?
Wait, how are you the closest thing to an Arsenal fan on this podcast?
Because I have the least, see, you hate Arsenal. correct, as a United fan. Chelsea fan also hates Arsenal. So I'm like, okay, Liverpool and Arsenal don't particularly have as intense a rivalry as the others. So and I'm still wondering how are they doing it? These many sequence of events can. Okay, to be very, I don't even think they're playing a very particularly attractive type of football. They're just somehow getting things right.
They're playing good football, dude. What is your understanding of an attractive level of football? Your attractive level of football is fucking gegenpress, right? Like it's the machine gun football that Klopp does. But that gets old after a point, and they're being caught out because of that. Like
but either way, I mean, let's keep it about Arsenal because there's enough shitting on Liverpool and Klopp to come.
Phat gayi.
But I'm so happy they're bumbling and stumbling and somehow they're reaching the end.
You're basically saying that Arsenal's title charge this year is like the Chicharito goal where he kicked the ball on his face and scored with
That's exactly what this is in my head.
Dude.
And I'm sorry, but I can't accept this as being...
Okay, I know that we don't have an Arsenal fan on this podcast. I know that we shit on Arsenal a lot. But we still do have some listenership that are Arsenal fans, and you are totally taking a massive fucking steaming dump on them.
Maybe I'm jealous because I'm like, when Liverpool were playing the best football and all of that, and they were getting 99 points and almost at 100 points, they came second.
That is such an arrogant thing to say. You feel like Arsenal are winning only because Liverpool are not playing their best football.
Yeah, kind of. And
Fuck you, dude. They're playing so well. Appreciate how well they're playing.
I'm just bitter, guys. I'm very bitter. Maybe.
Who would have thought?
I'm just bitter.
तू Klopp जैसा ही है man. Like you will make all the fucking excuses in the world when things are not going your way.
We're a match made in heaven.
Fine. But yes, just have to say this. It was great for Jesus to return just before Easter Sunday.
Oh my God, can we just get to the misery?
All right, cool. Let's talk about Liverpool.
Are the worst kind of
Let's talk about Liverpool losing 4-1 to Man City. Salah opened scoring first though. You had optimism.
I know when Mohamed scored, I was unlike Jesus who gave hope to Arsenal. Mohamed, on the other hand, gave me false hope for my team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had hope. I thought for a good time. I thought for about 25-26 minutes. I was like, okay, Liverpool have this game. That at worst it could be a 2-0, like an exciting 2-2 draw.
Yeah.
I somehow felt like this was going to be a high scoring game. I don't know how, but it felt like, when I mean high scoring, I mean like a 2-2, 3-2. But I didn't think it would be what it was. For Salah played. In fact, it looked like Salah was genuine playing after a point.
Yeah.
The midfield was just non-existent, if not absolutely malleable and bent everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think just
how were you feeling when you defeated United 7-0? Like you felt like Liverpool are back.
Ecstatic.
Yeah. So कभी-कभी ऐसे freak results होते हैं. But City played some great football, right? Like, let's be honest. Like the first equalizer, the Alvarez goal was very well worked. You know, perfect team goal.
I think this is one of those matches that just goes. This becomes, if I was a City fan, this is the match that Grealish won for us.
Yeah.
I think he was fantastic. He just took.
Jack Grealish was absolutely.
Jack Grealish, he took Trent Alexander-Arnold out of the game.
But that's very easy.
I think he took them out of the game particularly easily today.
I think he's taken them out of the next 5 games.
Probably. And I think, Jack Grealish looked like he was enjoying his football.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it was effort for him. There's something very. People talk about how Haaland is a very un-Pep Guardiola-like player in terms of, the aura, the appeal, etc. I also think in a way, Grealish isn't on the surface of it, he isn't a very Guardiola-like player in terms of his, whatever his extrovertness is, the flair, etc. But today he just proved that, both those Guardiola style and what Grealish brings to the table works so perfectly. I would say this was Grealish's game.
This was Grealish. Like it was. He is finally settled into being a Man City player. Like he's finally figured it out. He's in the form of his life.
Fun. I can see. I think since coming back, he's had about 8 assists and 4 goals or some insane number of statistics like that. And
but he's like he
looks so happy.
He looks very happy. He looks like he's definitely having fun. He's celebrating all his assists as well.
Yeah.
So it means a lot to him. Should we talk about his butt? Because that was a big part of this game. Like his butt being captured in ultra HD, ultra slow mo. Every muscle just wobbling around like that.
Many ovaries were dropped, I think.
Many ovaries were dropped. But that's all we'll say about that. Speaking of celebrating and what it means that Alvarez.
Speaking of ovaries.
Speaking of ovaries, Erling Haaland. No, but did you see the little cutaway to Erling Haaland in the stands?
He was celebrating wildly. I was like, what did Liverpool do to you?
Exactly. No, the thing is, I feel like he is somebody who doesn't stay at a club for more than 2 seasons. Right? Like, And he said also like, oh, Manchester City is not like my end. Like his agent has also said, yeah, we'll see, know what happens. For somebody who's obviously not like a one club man, itna celebration like thoda weird. Hai na?
Yeah, he's enjoying it too much. So I'm
Yeah.
like, now it just felt like it wasn't that he liked Liverpool. He didn't like Man City, but it sounded like he hated Liverpool.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling a little bad about that again now. The celebrations, there's a way you think of your club as the protagonist club
Yeah.
and just
You're the hero of your own story.
But today it felt like it was complete side piece.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
We were henchman number 3 who goes flying away. That's who
You're
we
the
were.
first person to die.
Yeah. It's terrible. But yeah, I think Liverpool again, I think there's familiar issues. You're losing at the Etihad, and at 70th minute you bring on, in 2023 if you bring on James Milner and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, you know that's
But
exactly
क्या
what's
option है
wrong.
उसके पास?
Exactly, you know that's what's wrong with the club. Like not even you chose to bring on, you had no option but to bring them
Yeah.
on. Is everything that's wrong with the club.
Yeah.
The only positive I think from the game on, I think prior to the game, Klopp made it very clear that in the summer there is going to be a lot of spending and a lot of things are going to be moved around, which I think is the only positive thing to have come out this weekend. Yeah, and I guess Salah getting a goal.
That's another positive, is it?
That's just a positive to his goal tally, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a plus
Did you
one.
have him in your FPL
I
team?
don't even have an
Oh,
FPL.
cool. Awesome. Right, let's also talk about Newcastle beating Man United 2-0.
Oh yes, let's talk about that.
This is good therapy for both of us.
Yes, good
this
therapy.
is good. This is catharsis for both of us to just let all our emotions out in front of each
and
other.
this felt like the revenge of the Carabao Cup final.
It did feel like that, but also I feel like it's good for both of us to talk about this because we've both been beaten by oil money. So it's great to like American ownership has been beaten by oil. Like it's the reverse Operation Desert Storm.
Yeah,
The Middle East fights back.
It's the 11-9. No,
Yeah.
sorry.
Which is the correct way to write the date, Americans, if you're listening, which I know you are, because about 20% of our listenership is
Like,
from America.
The
But
real tragedy that day is the way the date was written.
Ouch, we are going to hell. We are going to hell. Right, but it did feel like the revenge of the Carabao Cup final because, of course, before the Carabao Cup final, Erik ten Hag called Newcastle United an annoying team that love to annoy you.
That was such a disrespectful way of talking.
That was, right? See, the thing
That was
is,
more disrespectful than the way I talked about Arsenal. Come on.
No, it wasn't. I feel like, the thing is, I feel like I'm also very happy that a United manager is doing this shit because since Alex Ferguson, no manager has really done that. Even Mourinho wasn't really prime mind games Mourinho when he was Man United manager. He didn't really like...
I mean, because the players have to back up the mind games at some level.
Correct. No, but I feel like I like that Ten Hag is showing a little bit of needle. He's just trying to like get a little bit of an, thoda advantage in the media and saying things like that. Like, I like that. Disrespectful as it was. And fair play for Newcastle United to come back and like be fired up for it. But I feel like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Like those comments must have made their way into Eddie Howe's team talk and that fired them up. And Ten Hag also said after the game that United just didn't match Newcastle's passion, their desire in the game. And it was very clear to see like Man United looked fucking tired and Newcastle United looked like they were there on a mission. They had to get the 3 points and they knew they were going to.
And like I always say with Newcastle, right? I think everybody should celebrate every win they have because this is the last of their underdog season. I think what Wilson and Willock scored, I think in 65th and 88th minute, if I'm not wrong. And I thought, what a beautiful score. And like, this is the last time it looked like that.
Yeah, this is the last time two of those players will be playing for Man United for Newcastle because they'll be replaced by Griezmann and Mbappe.
Mbappe in the same team. So this is wonderful to see. And also I think as Premier League fans, I think this really did feel like this is the closest to, like in our lifetime, we only heard of Newcastle of the 90s when they were, I think, the Kevin Keegan, which they were sort of challenging for the title, and then Newcastle United and Alex Ferguson, Keegan, and that sort of rivalry. And this is the closest we have had to that sort of a rivalry between the two teams. So I think that was nice.
And also between the two managers, it was great to see Eddie Howe and Erik ten Hag on the touchline, having a bit of an argument. Like again, like these are things that we haven't seen as United fans on the touchline in a while. And might have been in the wrong. I'm not saying that, that is something that should happen, or that is, how can Eddie Howe say something, Eric Ten Hag is right. No, probably Eric Ten Hag was wrong, but I'm just happy as a viewer to see that shit.
And I think purely as a spectacle, leaving the morality of it and which side you want to pick aside, I think just a spectacle of seeing, of these bastions of English football, which are Newcastle and Manchester United, and having the managers go at each other, I think it's just good spectacle. I think that it's a nice transition from that Pep Klopp sportsmanship era to a more like a dirtier era.
Yeah.
And maybe I think it's time now. We've had enough of the nice sportsmanship era. I think of Potter, Rodgers, Klopp, Pep, or Pochettino, all these 5-6 who defined in the last 7-8 years. Now it's time to get a little bit of dirty back. I think it'll be fun.
Fucking slam each other, man. Punch each other on the touchline.
I think
choke slam them.
I think football needs a little more spectacle now.
Yes.
And I think this is a good spectacle. So I'm happy.
You know, FIFA and UEFA keep talking about, we need to lessen the time of the half and make it, instead of 45 minutes, 30-minute halves, and introduce a stop clock so that, it stops when the ball goes out of play, because the young viewers are losing focus in the game and they're losing interest in watching the game. ये सब करो man, like fucking fight on the touchline, create a riot, get players to punch each other.
Have a Van Persie throw pizza, or what if Fabregas throw pizza at Alex Ferguson,
Yeah.
Have those moments, have those insane moments.
It would be weird if
right now if it happens,
Fabregas just went to Alex Ferguson and threw a pizza. Like, what was that for?
Cheap Domino's pizza, not even a good quality Italian pizza. But I think this sort of more dirty spectacles is, I think, in a way good. I would like to see it again. And I think it was fun. I think it's nice to see some sort of a Newcastle and Manchester United cute rivalry budding between the both of them, which is a callback to older times.
Callback to older times, indeed. Right, with that, it is time to end this episode. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to this episode of The Corner Flag. If you'd like to get in touch with us and tell us what you thought of this episode, you can reach us on our social media. You can find Mukesh on Instagram at
Mukesh Manjunath.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Amogh and Mukesh.
That's because his name is... which is the noise he made to describe.
You sound like the girl from The Ring, dude. You're going to give me nightmares tonight. You saying that sounds like me. I don't sound like that. It's there's a slight difference in what he said. You can also follow The Corner Flag on Instagram and Twitter at @CornerFlagPod. Do visit our website, thecornerflag.in. Support us by going to buymeacoffee.com/thecornerflag. We'd really appreciate that. And if you can't do that, do check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Subscribe to us there, and do not forget to give us a 5-star review, because that helps us as well. Shout out to Kaizad Garda for composing our theme tune, and until next week, it is goodbye from us. So say bye, Mukesh.
Bye, guys.
And it's bye from me.